So let's go ahead and get started. If everybody wants to stand up, we're just going to do a little bit of a marching in place for a warm-up. So today we've got a new workout planned. We'll do it 3 weeks in a row. It is more upper body focused, and then Thursday's class we'll do lower body focused, and then we'll switch swap each week going forward. So let's do 2 minutes of that marching in place, and then we'll go down onto the floor and do some stretches for our upper body. So I'm going to start the timer, and we're going to go ahead and start that marching. Just let your arms kind of swing back and forth. And remember, we're trying to keep ourselves nice and tall. So pulling from the crown of our head, pulling the chin in, not letting our head get too far forward. Shoulders back, chest up. Push with the big toe, remember, so that it helps to initiate hip flexion. And we want to try to get those knees up nice and high. Let the arms swing just normally. So Susan, make sure your left arm doesn't swing too high, because that would, we wouldn't be walking like this super high. Whew. It's gonna be a hot one today. I've got my doors closed, so there's no ambient noise, and I can already feel it's gonna be warm. We've got 30 more seconds. Twenty more seconds. We do this in the Eldoa class that I teach. Susan's been joining every week. Mary, you should join us one of these weeks. I'm teaching Thursdays at 6. Right here in the living room. Okay, everybody can slow down their march. And then we're gonna come on to our hands and knees, and we're gonna do that thread the needle stretch. So I'm gonna be on my hands and knees. We're going to take our right arm and we're going to thread it through underneath our left arm. My head comes to the floor, and then I'm going to push with my left arm so that I get an upper back rotation. Nice big breaths. You should feel this behind the shoulder blades, close to the spine. And come on up, and we'll do the other side. So we'll take our left arm, and we're going to thread it through under the right arm. The head comes to the floor, and we push into the floor with our right arm. Nice big breaths. Remember, we want to try to get that rib cage moving as we breathe. So the deeper we breathe, the more movement that rib cage will make. One more breath. Come on up. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and stretch your wrists. So my fingers are facing away from me, and all I'm going to do is slightly shift over my wrists. So we start to stretch the back of that wrist and that under forearm there. And you just kind of rock back and forth. All right, now we're going to place the tops of our hands on the floor. So the fingers are facing my legs. And now I'm going to shift backwards. So now it stretches the forearms, the tops of that forearm. Obviously, just go to how far you can go. It doesn't feel great, but it's not supposed to be like a lot of pain, so it should just be a stretch. All right, and let's do a couple wrist circles. So stretch out those wrists. Make sure you do both directions, clockwise and counterclockwise with both wrists. And maybe flap them up and down, sideways, shake them out a little bit. All right, we're gonna go ahead into just a general overhead tricep stretch. So I'm gonna take my right arm and my hand is gonna be draped down in between my shoulder blades. I'll grab onto my right elbow with my left hand and I'm going to pull back. So I'm not pulling sideways, I'm not pulling my elbow to my ear, I'm pulling that elbow behind me. Yep. Nice stretches, nice big breaths. All right, shake out your arms. We'll do the other side. So left arm, the left hand drops below our shoulder blades. I will grab onto my left elbow and pull it behind me. Very good. Okay, I'm going to teach you guys a new lat stretch. So I'm going to go to the side so that you can see my angle. I'm going to bring my left leg forward, right leg is on the floor. I'm going to bring my right foot slightly inward, right? So I just kind of create a little bit of external rotation with my right hip. I'm going to move my left leg forward a little bit so I can come into a little bit of this forward lunge. My left hand is going to reach behind me towards my right foot. And then I'm going to reach forward with my right arm. Okay? So we'll be stretching the right lat. And the harder we reach with both arms, the more it'll stretch that right lat. And if you take your right wrist and bend it as you reach, you should feel more stretch in that lat as well. So again, I'm reaching behind me with my left arm and forward and away. I'm pushing with that right arm. So we get that nice big lat stretch right behind that armpit. Lean forward slightly. Yep, good. And slowly come out of it. So we'll go ahead and switch sides. I'll show you from a different angle. So left leg is going to be down, right leg is going to be forward. Left foot rotates inward, creating a little bit of external rotation on that left side. I'm going to lean forward slightly into that forward knee. My right hand is going to reach behind me towards that left foot, and I reach up and forward with my left arm. Both wrists are bent, right? So my hand is like this, and I'm reaching aggressively towards the corner of my ceiling and towards my foot with my right hand. If you need to tilt a little bit to try to get into that stretch even more, Louisa, lean forward for me. So this is kind of we're using our muscle tension to create stretch, right? So it's an active stretch, so we should be working in this. And relax. Whew. Okay, I'm already sweating. So the first 3 movements we are gonna do are gonna be for your shoulder girdle. The first one is a medial deltoid raise. So we can do this standing or kneeling. I'm gonna do both arms at the same time, and I encourage you to do the same just so we can save time and get through some more things. So I'm gonna show you from the side angle just to begin here. I'm gonna pull my shoulders back, right? Because we don't want the shoulder to be pitched forward. That's the wrong position for the shoulder. So I'm gonna roll those shoulders back and down so that the head of my shoulder is in the center of my shoulder socket, right? My elbows will be bent at a 90-degree angle and my palms are facing one another, so my thumbs are pointing to the ceiling. From this position, I'm going to pull up to here and then pull back and then lower that down. So from the front angle, it'll look like this. So most importantly, what I always see is that people want to pull those dumbbells in towards the armpit. You want to make sure there's a 90-degree angle at the elbow to forearm and wrist the whole time. So that's the first movement. Let me show you the second movement before we get going, and then we'll go over the third, and then we'll do it all together. So the second movement is gonna be a prone W. So prone means face down, so we'll be laying on our stomachs. Our arms are gonna be in a bent position. So my hand is in line with my face. That's a good cue for you to remain in. So that means my elbow is lower than my shoulder. My head will be down, and then I will be raising my arms up like this, and then all the way down to the floor. So we'll be getting a lot of scapular retraction, so this is gonna help with rhomboid strength, lower trap strength, rotator cuff, rear rotator cuff strength, okay? And then the third movement we are gonna do is a scap push-up. So if anybody has problems being on their wrists or on their shoulders, you can elevate either on the couch, a chair, or a counter, or a table so that you have less body weight directly into the floor. However, the regular position is going to be in a high plank position. So fingers are spread, legs are straight. I will depress down, so I allow my shoulder blades to come together, and then I push up, so that my shoulder blades come away from each other and I push away from the floor. My elbows do not bend, and I keep my hips and my pelvis in a nice neutral position. So again, that's helping with shoulder blade movement. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 each of all of those. So let's start with the medial deltoid raise. I'm gonna do this from a kneeling position like this. You guys can do it sitting in a chair, whatever is more comfortable for you. So grab your small weights or your soup cans or your water bottles or whatever you have. We'll pull that shoulder back and down so it's in the center of the shoulder socket, and we'll begin for 10. So it's going to be up and down. We go slow with this one because we want to make sure that we're really pulling from the medial deltoid. So a lot of times with this, the neck can get involved, or the pec, or the trap, and that can be painful on the neck or your back, even your low back, really. So we want to make sure that we're really concentrating on pulling from the shoulder. Flavia, make sure that your hands are in line with your wrists. So when we're in this position, my wrist is in line with my elbow. So move your hands out. There you go. Yep. And down. Good. Up and down. Up and down. Good. Charlene, try to bring your elbows a little higher if you can. Yep. And remember, we're keeping that elbow in line with the shoulder. It's not coming forward, it's not coming back, it's right in the center. Everybody's gonna do one more. And pull up and down. Good. I already feel that in my shoulders. It's not supposed to be heavy. The shoulder is a relatively small muscle. Okay, everybody down onto their stomachs. We're gonna go into those prone W's. So lie down. Remember, our hands are in line with our face. Elbows are below the shoulder, but the forearm is resting on the floor. I'm gonna go face down and then we'll raise those arms 10 times. 1. Make sure you're squeezing through your shoulder blades as you lift those arms off of the floor. And I try to maintain an even line between my wrist and my elbow and my shoulder. Meaning that a lot of times what happens is the elbow wants to kick up a little higher, but that would push the shoulder forward. So we want to make sure the shoulder is retracting, coming into some external rotation. I have 2 more. 1 and 2. Good. Everybody pop up to that high plank position. If you need to elevate, go ahead and elevate yourself now, either on your couch or a chair. Flavia, you should be fine on the floor. Okay, everybody come into that high plank position. Legs are strong, butt is squeezed. We'll sink down to the floor without bending your elbows, and then push away from the floor aggressively. Sink down, and then push away. Try to think about pushing from right underneath your armpit, really. The muscles that kind of support the back of the shoulder blade to the rib cage is called your serratus anterior. And they are right here. So right where I'm kind of pointing to, right underneath that armpit, kind of bringing the shoulder blade, connecting it to the rib cage. So that's what we're working when we're doing those scat push-ups, as well as a lot of rotator strength. Okay, that was the first set. We're gonna go right back to those medial deltoid raises. So grab your weights. And go ahead and rotate those shoulders so that they are in the center of the shoulder socket. And whenever you're ready, you can begin. So pull up and down. I keep my chin pulled in. My head is tall. Hi, Chase. Fix her up. Luisa was getting some coaching from her boyfriend, everybody. You can't see it, but I can. Yep, these 5 pounds are absolutely plenty for me. I would not want to be any heavier. So if you guys are working with 5-pounders, expect it to be kind of spicy. I'm on my last one. And down, very good. We're gonna go right into those prone W's, so everybody lie on their stomachs. And when you're ready, when you're in your position, you can go ahead and begin. Remember, the hands are in line with the face. We'll pull up on those arms, pulling through the shoulder blades. The head stays down. Six, 7, 8, 9, squeeze, 1 more, 10, very good. Push up, get ready for those scat push-ups. Shake out your shoulders if you need to. All right, and everybody's in that high plank position. Fingers are spread. Wrists are right underneath the armpits. Legs are strong. And go ahead and begin. So we depress down, shoulder blades come towards each other, and then we push away. Lots of range of motion with those shoulder blades. And remember to push with those muscles right underneath the armpits. Keep your legs nice and tight. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Okay, we've got one more round. My arms and shoulders are feeling it. Okay, so we'll grab those weights. We're gonna go one more round through, starting with the medial deltoid raise. So pull those shoulders back and down. Wrists are elbows are at a 90-degree angle. Chin is in, head is tall. Go ahead and begin. Elevate and down. Make sure we're not pulling with the neck. You should feel it a lot in the center of the shoulder. Flavia, that looks perfect. This is a really good postural exercise, right? Because not only are we getting the medial deltoid, the upper back muscles have to support the scapula and the shoulder, right, as it moves. So it's a really good movement for postural corrections and sitting at the computer, you know, kind of fixing all those little postural movements that get all wonky. Okay. We're gonna go right back down into those prone W's. Go ahead and ditch your weights. Everybody on their stomach. Hands are in line with your face. And go ahead and begin. Nice good squeeze through those shoulder blades and down. Squeeze and down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. When you're done, pop back up. I gotta give my arms a little shake here. Okay, and then we're back into that last set of your scap push-ups. So everybody get into that high plank position. Nice and strong through your plank position. Remember, kind of double whammy here. We're doing 2 things at once. So we're in our plank. We're gonna allow those shoulder blades to drop down, sink towards the floor, and then push up. Sink those shoulder blades towards each other, and then push up. 3, 4. Try to keep your chin pulled in. 5, 6, 7. The crown of your head reaching away from you. 8, 9, and 10. Woo! Very good. Okay. You guys can take a drink. I'm going to demonstrate the next 3 movements so that you can kind of see them first before we go through them together. So the first one is going to be a side plank with rotation. If you need to grab a pad for your elbow, this is the time to do it. So there's going to be 2 different variations that we can do this. For those of you who I've already given the modifications to, Charlene and Susan specifically, kind of figure out how you're going to do that. So the first one is going to be, we'll be in the side plank rotation or side plank position with both legs stacked on top of each other. The hips have lifted off of the floor. I will rotate through, reaching my right arm underneath my left and then rotating up. So that's the first variation. Modification from that can be bottom knee bent. Our legs are still stacked on top of one another, so make sure that the bottom knee is not too far forward. Hips will still remain up, and then we can still do that rotation this way. So that's modification. Mary, I know you like to do it that way. Anybody else who has trouble supporting themselves on their shoulder, that would be a good modification. The second movement is going to be a supine pullover. So supine means face up. This is where I'm going to use that heavy book bag. If you have a stack of books or a heavier dumbbell, this would be the time to use it. So I'm going to be lying on my back. I will grab onto my book bag, if I can get it. There we go. And then I pull over like this. I let the book bag come to the floor, and then I pull through, or I pull over my head. And we want to be focusing on our lats with this. So the muscle, again, right below the armpit, kind of pulling the shoulder blade down and pulling that shoulder blade towards the hip. Okay, the last movement is going to be a prone weighted pull through. So prone means face down, remember. I'm going to go back to using my dumbbell. We'll be in that high plank position yet again. The dumbbell is going to be off to my left hand side. My feet are wide. I will reach under, grab the dumbbell with my right hand and drag it or pull it through to my other side. Then I will grab the dumbbell with my left hand and pull it through. So a different view for you guys would be like this. And if this is too much for any of you, you can elevate yourself onto the couch and you can still pull that dumbbell through like this. So we are getting some rotation, but we're also getting some pull from the lateral side of the shoulder. Okay? So if everybody's ready, we're gonna start with the side plank with rotation. So grab a pad for your elbow if you need to. Flavia, your floor looks hard there if you need a pillow. And we're gonna do 12 rotations on each side, okay? So once everybody's ready, you're gonna come on up. So whatever side plank position you're in, arm is gonna reach to the ceiling. We will rotate under and rotate out. Six, 7. If at any point you need to drop to your knee, that's fine. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Switch sides. That is difficult. Okay. Everybody get ready. We'll go up onto that other side. So go ahead and come on up into your side plank. Reach your arm up to the ceiling and begin. Rotate under, rotate open. 2, 3. Charlene and Susan, you guys are doing your kind of your dead bug leg rotations. Yep, good, side to side. I have 2 more. Very good. You probably noticed one side's easier than the other. I recommend always starting with the harder side first. Get it out of the way. You should hopefully feel some engagement of your obliques. Lots of strength in that shoulder. Okay, so everybody's gonna be lying on their back. We're gonna go through those supine pullovers. So I will grab my book bag. And when everybody's ready, we're gonna do 12 to 15 of these. So my lower back is on the floor, so I'm gonna tuck my pelvis up so that I have full connection with my spine in the floor. And keep your elbows relatively straight and go ahead and begin. So pull over your head, slow on the way down, and pull. Keep your chin tucked into your chest a little bit. I'm at 11. I'm going to go to 15. 14, one more, and 15. Very good. Okay, everybody gently roll onto your side so you can get up. Grab that dumbbell again, and we're gonna go into your prone weighted pull-throughs. So we're gonna try to get through 20. Everybody modify how you need to modify. If that means repetitions are gonna modify or your position is gonna modify, no problem. Okay, so everybody's gonna be up in that high plank position yet again. My feet are gonna be wider than my hips. And when you're ready, go ahead and begin. In this position, my hands are in front of my shoulders. 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm dragging that weight, underneath my arms. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, one more, and 20. Very good. Okay, everybody take a tiny little rest, and we'll go back to the side plank with rotation. Whew. Okay, so everybody get your pad for your elbow if you need it. If you need to keep that bottom knee down, remember you can do this position instead of both legs straight. Okay, once everybody's ready, hips are gonna come up, arm is gonna reach to that ceiling, and we'll begin. So you're gonna rotate under and rotate open. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Switch sides. Okay, once everybody's in position, their elbows underneath their armpit, legs are stacked, we'll come on up, hips are up, arm is up, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Whew. Very good. Okay, we're on our backs. For those pullovers, I'm gonna grab my book bag. everybody's ready, remember our lower backs are on the floor, so we're going to tuck that pelvis up a little bit, squeeze the butt just a little, and go ahead and begin. Pull over your head. The slower on the way down, the more eccentric control, the more strength you're going to gain in that shoulder and lat complex. I have one more. Everybody finish up. One or two more if you need to. Gently roll over. We'll grab your weight. We're going to be in that prone weighted pull through. We're doing 20 of them. So once everybody's ready, we'll be in that high plank position. Feet are wider than your hips. And go ahead and begin if you're ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Louisa, lower your butt. 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Hopefully you guys can all feel your core working in that. I have a 5-pounder and I can still feel my core. So hopefully you guys are feeling how your core is really supporting you. Okay, we have one more round through those. So again, we're starting with that side plank with rotation. Whew. Remember, try to do your difficult side first. For mine, that's my left. Most people, it's your left if you're right-handed. Unless you're Susan and have replaced shoulder and elbow on your left side. Okay, everybody is gonna come on up into that side plank. Arm is gonna elevate to the ceiling and we'll begin. Rotate under, rotate open. We're doing 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Switch sides. Whew. All right. Once you're ready for the next side, you can go ahead and begin. I'm going to come on up and I'm going to begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, and 12. Whew, very good. Okay, on our backs, we're going right into those pullovers. I'll grab my book bag. And when you guys are ready, you can begin. One more. I did 15, so finish up. A couple more if you need to. Careful when you get up off the floor. Roll over. Grab your weight. We have that last set of the prone weighted pull-throughs. Okay. Once everybody's ready, we'll be in that high plank position one more time. Feet are wider than your hips. Your lower butt is, or your lower back is down. And go ahead and begin. Rotate through, or pull through, I should say. 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to keep your chin in to your throat, your neck long. 9, 10. Try not to shift your hips too much. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Very good. Everybody take a drink if they need it. I'm gonna make some space and we're gonna grab our brooms. So Lisa, you'll just need a broom or a long stick or something. Everybody else, a broom, a mop, a bat even would work. Baseball bat, I don't know if any of you have a baseball bat. Okay, so we have 4 movements to do. Each of them will be for 40 seconds. We'll have about 10 seconds in between each movement. Let me go through the movements just like normal so you guys can have a visual before we start. So the first one is a bent over broom row. So we'll be bent over in this horizontal position, right? My back is parallel to the floor. My butt has pushed back. My hamstrings are engaged. I'm gonna change up my grip each time we do this. So on this first one, I'm gonna go wide, and then I'll probably go a little bit medial, then maybe I'll go really narrow, then maybe I'll go back to wide. So each set through, change up your grip position. But you'll be in this position, and we're rowing. So we're pulling those elbows towards the ceiling, squeezing your shoulder blades together as we do that. That'll be for 40 seconds. Yes, I know it's light, but again, think about the movement of the scapula. The next one is going to be a squat plus a horizontal press with the broom. So I'm going to be in my squat position. My feet are wider than my hips. My hands are gripping the broom somewhat just outside of my shoulders. So I will squat and press. So as I squat down, I press the broom away from me. I pull the broom to my chest as I stand up. That'll be for 40 seconds. We'll have 10 seconds to transition to the next one. The following one, I'm gonna put the broom brush head up, and I'm gonna hold it like this. We are gonna do a pivot lunge with a wood chop. So the broom will always be out in front of us, arms extended. And then we are going to pivot. Ooh. Make sure you keep your balance like I just didn't do. And then we just basically are pivoting on both feet. So we're pivoting towards the direction that we're going. If I keep the tension really tight right here at my lat and keep my rib cage down, you should get a rotational pull through the core when you pivot. And then the last one is going to be a pass through. So arms are going to go into that wide position on our broom. We've done this before. Arms are going to come up and over. Your range of motion will all be different. We'll be passing the broom over our body, basically, back and forth. Okay, so try to keep your arms relatively straight. The wider, the easier, right? It's going to give your shoulder more space to rotate through. And if your end range is here, that is fine. That is where you stop. and then you pull all the way forward to your leg. Okay, so we're gonna start with those bent over broom rows. Everybody go ahead and get set up. And I'm gonna go wide position first with my hands. In 3, 2, 1, begin. So Flavia, we wanna have your butt way up high. Yep, look at me for a second. So you see how I'm completely bent over with my chest? There you go, nice. And the broom should be coming somewhere between your sternum and your belly button. It shouldn't be hitting you anywhere actually on your boobs. So below the boobs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have 10 seconds. I'm gonna narrow my grip just a little bit. We're gonna be going into that squat with a press. In 3, 2, 1, begin. Squat. Yep, each time we squat down, the broom comes forward. Flavia, that looks great. Yeah. Nice job. It's weird, but my shoulders are definitely feeling this. And this broom weighs like a pound. We have 3, 2, 1, rest. Brush end goes up. Arms are gonna be straight. Whew. In 3, 2, 1, we're going into our pivot and begin. Try to exhale as you rotate. This is very similar to that around the world one that we did last week with the pillow. But as we exhale, we get a lot more abdominal contraction, so it'll help engage the core. Keep those arms nice and long, pushed away from you. 3, 2, 1. Arms are gonna go back into that wide position, as wide as you can on your broom. Whew. And we have our pass-throughs. So straight arm pass-throughs. In 3, 2, 1, begin. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Try to control your rib cage. Make sure it's not flaring too much. And we do want to create more space, so in the shoulder capsule that is. So as I elevate the broom, I'm going to slightly shrug my shoulders. And then as the broom comes back around, I'm going to do the same thing. So the more we shrug, the more space we're creating in that shoulder capsule. We have 3, 2, 1, finish your repetition wherever you're on. We have about 20 seconds break, and then we're starting back with that bent over row. So this time we're gonna change that grip position. I'm gonna go a little bit narrower. Whew. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bend over and row. You should all be getting probably close to 30 repetitions or more, right? Because this only takes you about a second to do a movement. Make sure you're aware of how your shoulder blades are moving. So when your elbows come up, the shoulder blades pull towards each other. When your arms go to the floor, shoulder blades go away from each other. We have 10 seconds. Keep your chin pulled in, the crown of your head reaching long, the back of your neck flat. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna keep the same hand position I have here for my squat with my press. So we'll get into your squat position with your feet. Whew. 3, 2, 1, begin. Squat and press away. Good. Make sure that you're not pulling up into your neck. Your neck stays nice and relaxed. You can challenge yourself and try to go a little faster. Lisa's doing front squats. I like that. Good idea. We have 10 seconds. And rest. Brush end is going to go up. Hands are going to go one on top of the other with a couple inches space. And we have 3, 2, 1. Start with that pivot. Pivot. Keep your elbows straight so arms are pushed away from you. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands are going to go back into that wide position for your pass-throughs. If the pass-through was easy for you, you can narrow your grip. If it was challenging, keep your grip wide. We have 3, 2, 1, begin. Remember, only go to your range of motion. Don't push it just because I'm able to go all the way behind my head. We have 10 seconds. And finish your last repetition. Very good. We have 2 more sets of this. Okay, we're going to go back to that bent over row. So everybody get a narrower position this time. We still want to make sure though that it's pretty much your hands are on the side of your body, so not too close, right? We want to make sure that elbows are right at the sides. Okay, and everybody go ahead and begin. Nice, Flavia. Keep your butt up. Very good, everybody. We've got about 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. All right, right into your squats. If your shoulders are getting tired, you can put the broom on the back of your shoulders and we can do a back squat. I'm going to continue with the pressing forward. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Begin. Squat and press. Challenge yourself and see if you can go faster. You almost have to pull yourself down. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Broom end goes up. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go with the pivot. 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 Very good. We have less than 10 seconds. And rest right into your pass-throughs. So again, find that comfortable position for your hands. Whew. In 3, 2, 1, begin. Remember, keep some tension on your rib cage. Make sure your rib cage isn't flaring too much as that broom goes over your head. 3, 2, 1. We have one more round. Everybody find whatever position they want with their hands for their row. Whew. Got about 4 more minutes and then we're done. Okay, everybody get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. Lisa, make sure the broom is going directly down, not at an angle. Yep, there you go. Oh, Louisa got her barbell. Look at that. Louisa showed all of us up and is using a barbell. 3, 2, 1, into your squats. That's why she's doing a front squat. All right, everybody begin in 3, 2, 1, begin. Press away from you. Again, challenge yourself on the tempo, right? Can we go faster? This is the last set we're doing here. Pull yourself into that squat. Your guys' squats look great. Make sure we are standing all the way up straight though in between each one. Make sure we're not going too fast where we lose form, right? Keep your chest up. Three, 2, 1, right into your pivot. So I'm gonna hold my broom at the bottom so that the broom end is all the way at the top near my ceiling. That'll give me a little bit more resistance, a little bit more weight. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, begin. Pivot. Keep your core engaged so you can feel the rotation coming from the hip, core, rib cage, shoulder girdle, right? Everything rotates together. We have less than 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. One more set of your pass-throughs. Arms are going to be wide on that broom. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Up and overhead. We've got 10 seconds. Everybody finish up one more. Very good. Okay. I'm going to put my broom down. We're going to do one Aldoa. So one movement to try to get a little bit of space between our mid-back. And it's going to be T8, T9. So I'm going to give you a visual first of what this movement will look like, what this posture will look like. So those of you who are new to Aldoa, Aldoa is an acronym. It's a class that we teach. It's also a practice that we teach to help create space in between your joints or your vertebrae. And so this position we're going to do for your vertebrae. So my feet are going to be about 1 foot, maybe a foot and a little bit away from my butt. I'm going to go back to show you from this angle. I will pull myself up super tall, holding onto my knees at first. Arms are going to go forward and then arms are going to go straight up overhead, okay? So let me all cue you together. There's most of the time way too many steps to think about, so I'll keep cycling through these cues. Okay, so everybody's got their feet in the right position. I want everybody to push their arches into the floor. So really grab with your toes, push the arches of your feet into the floor. Push your knees slightly wider than your hips, just ever so slightly. I'm gonna hold on to the fronts of my knees and I'm gonna sit up super tall, right? It helps kind of give some tension, right? And we want it to be slightly uncomfortable. This is not supposed to be an easy stretch. It's supposed to be difficult. You're gonna have to work through it. So we have to find a position that's slightly challenging to stay in. So again, I have my hands at the fronts of my knees. I'm pulling myself up super tall. Let's pull that chin in. Your eyeballs are gonna be in between your feet. I'm gonna reach the crown of my head up super tall. Everybody reach their right arm forward. Your wrist is bent and we're gonna reach away. So push away with that arm. Now everybody go ahead and push that left arm forward. We've got to work now to keep that posture, right? So I'm gonna try to sit onto the sit bones a little bit more. Everybody bring their right arm up overhead. Bring your left arm up overhead. This is the posture. We have to stay here for a little while. So again, let's go through those checkpoints. I'm pushing into the arches of my feet. My big toes are pushing in. My knees are slightly wider than my ankles and my hips. My eyes are looking in between my feet. I'm sitting forward onto my bony sit bones. I'm reaching up as hard as I can with my arms. My elbows are as straight as possible. I'm reaching up through the crown of my head so that my neck stays long. Remember, Aldoa is all about creating tension and creating space. So the more tension you push with the arms and the more tension you push into your feet, the more space we're going to be able to create at T8, T9. T8, T9 is in the middle of our back. I want everybody to take 2 more big breaths. Jeanette, we lost you. And slowly relax those arms. We always come out of this nice and slow. Very good. All right, everybody. You're done.